I just want to share my quick thoughts about Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that just happened. And I actually went into this pay-per-view thinking, oh, I'm not very excited, it'll be okay. There's really nothing too exciting that's happening tonight. But then actually at the end, I'm really excited about the possibilities that could be happening going forward to the road to WrestleMania. This pay-per-view really surprised me in some areas, especially with the main event and the results. Spoilers ahead, if you haven't watched, don't watch this video. Alright, so let's talk about some of the other matches real quick. Becky Lynch and Mickie James, that was a decent match. I wasn't too invested in it, but I feel like the result of Becky winning was the right way to go, given the story of, Mickie James was accusing the women's revolution as being, phony and not real. And if you're going to accuse that, you don't want to put the whole women's revolution in, the garbage can, and make it look bad. So I think they picked the correct result. Then we have Apollo Crews, Kalisto, and Dolph Ziggler. And, Dolph beat up Kalisto at the beginning, so it was more of a one-on-one match for the most part, with Kalisto coming in at the very end. My big thing to talk about with that match was, I don't think that Apollo, and I've been thinking this for a long time, it's not just tonight, Apollo really shouldn't have been pushed up to the main roster so soon. I don't think he has a defined character. He doesn't really have a connection with the crowd. He's great in ring, which that's so unfortunate because his character, just nothing's there. And I think he could have worked on his persona a little bit. Right now he's just a smiling guy, and that's a shame because he's got the talent to warrant a bigger push. But until I see some kind of charisma from him and some kind of depth to his character, I'm really not interested. So that match was okay. Ziggler's heel work was on point, which it has been recently. I'm liking what they're doing with Ziggler a lot. So that was cool. Now, the tag match I enjoyed the final American Alpha versus the Ascension face-off. I feel like they're finally building up the Ascension to look better than they did back when they first debuted on the main roster. They kind of ruined them for a long time, and now I think they're trying to fix what they kind of ruined in the first place. So they're patching it up, and yes, the Ascension lost, but they looked good. They looked decent. I like their in-ring gear a lot. I like what they've done with that. And American Alpha, I think, was the right choice going forward because they're so talented, and I could see a feud with the Usos possibly going on for the next few weeks. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that. Nikki Bella versus Natalya. That was also semi-entertaining. Nothing too crazy happened. I do agree with the results. With being a no contest, you don't really know what happened. They can continue on with what they're doing with their feud right now. That's fine with me. Now, here we come to, it's starting to get interesting here as we move on towards the end of the card. I really think it was a night for the Wyatts. Obviously, a great night for the Wyatt family and that story going forward. I want to see what's going to happen. So, Randy Orton versus Luke Harper, great in-ring match. Luke Harper hardly ever gets a chance to shine, and his in-ring skills are insane for a guy of his size. I really love him. So finally, he gets a chance with a one-on-one match to show his skills and his talents. And Randy Orton's always on point with matches, and I love a match with a built-in story. The vignette before the match, I really enjoyed that a lot. I loved the vignette. There's nothing like a well-produced video package to start off a feud or to continue a feud, to highlight what's happened and what's going to happen. Just puts you in the mood and puts you ready for what's going to happen. Some say that, it could have wound up Harper going over Orton, but with Orton going into WrestleMania, I think he needs to keep this positive momentum. I think this is going to work out in the story. Orton needs to be the one who's kind of on top, a threat to the Wyatt family. That will create the tension that's needed between Bray and Orton going forward. We need the tension there. Now let's move on from the Wyatts for a second before we go to the main event and talk about the Women's Championship match, Alexa Bliss versus Naomi. Now that was it was a curveball, really. I didn't see Naomi winning that match, but I'm actually, now that I think about it, I'm glad she won. It shakes up the division. I really loved the emotional moment at the end. You could tell that meant a lot to her, and I love when you see genuine emotion like that. It's kind of rare to see that in ring, and so that was so heartwarming to see her really appreciate having the championship. Let's compare it to something like if Eva Marie won. Do you think she'd react like that? She couldn't have said, I wanted this for years. It wouldn't be sincere. And I felt like Naomi was sincere in how she felt when she won. And I love stuff like that. I'm just a sucker, a sentimental sucker for stuff like that. I don't care. I like that stuff. And I think they could do some interesting things with this story moving forward. And, they need to build up the lower part of the women's division on SmackDown because the roster's so thin. You can't have two main people at the top of the division and just have them going back and forth. You need to build a depth there. Naomi needs to be a contender, and having her win the belt makes her a more serious contender when she does lose it going forward. And so she will be a believable opponent after she loses the belt to whoever will have the belt. That builds depth, and I think that's important. Now let's get to the main event, the Elimination Chamber. And I think that was so well done. When you talk about the chamber redesign, that was impressive. I loved the way the chamber looked. It was more space, the pods were taller, the whole chamber itself was taller. And the overhead camera shot looking in from the top, that was really well done. I loved the logo that you could see through the very top. I loved the lights on the pods. Some people might say that was overproduced, but I really liked it. I thought that showed some high production quality, and I love high production quality stuff. And WWE is really good at doing that. So they made the cage work for them. Sometimes the cage hinders your viewing at home, but I think it added to it. And the cage, the chamber acted like a character and a part of the whole story in itself. And I think that was really evidenced with the jib shots. That kind of gave the chamber a personality, and you felt like, oh, there's the chamber. It gave it a threatening feel, and it also made the action really interesting, and it gave us a different angle to look at throughout the whole thing. Not to mention, I loved Bray's entrance coming in with all those lights on the cell phones reflecting from the pods. That was really, really nice looking. I thought that gave a nice visual element, an artistic element really, to the whole thing. And I was really surprised by liking Baron Corbin as much as I did. He really looks strong in this match. I like the new mustache. I don't know why I like it, but it adds to his character in my opinion. It makes him look different, more menacing, and it makes his receding hairline look not as weird. The mustache helps. Irrelevant, but it means something to me. And then I loved how Bray Wyatt pinned Cena. As soon as that happened, I was like, I really don't care who wins this match because I could see it being a great event at WrestleMania. And I could see it being a great story going forward. If AJ would have won, I would have been cool with that because Orton versus AJ, that's going to be a good match. And I, of course, love the whole result of Bray winning because that's a built-in story right there with the whole Wyatt family. It'll be a very tense situation going forward, and I love the stare down Orton and Wyatt at the very end. So really, this pay-per-view, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up because of my low expectations at the beginning. I was like, I am not excited about this pay-per-view at all. So for me to have gone into it so, not caring, and then coming out of it so kind of pumped up and ready to see what's coming next, I say that's warranted to give it a thumbs up, or 2 thumbs up. So I enjoyed it, but I want to hear what you thought of it. Did you like the result of the Elimination Chamber match? What did you think about the women's match result? What did you think about the Randy Orton-Luke Harper match? Anything on the card, I want to know. Please tweet me, you can Instagram message me, or you could Facebook me. All at the same handle, at SuperKickingIt. And that's SuperKickingIt. Thank you for watching.